It seems to me, first of all, from what I understand from doctors, that's really rare. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down.
And when it comes to establishing your worldview, I was curious, what newspapers and magazines did you regularly read before you were tapped for this to stay informed and to understand the world?
I've read most of them, again, with a great appreciation for the press, for the media.
But like what ones specifically? I'm curious that you...
all of them, any of them that have...
Can demonic spirits attach themselves to inanimate objects? The answer is yes.
Welcome to Twatwaffle of the Week. There's an inordinate amount of stupid again for this week. That said, as you can see, my weekly Twatwaffles of the Week has become more of a bi-weekly thing. I can live with that. And to those of you wondering why I'm doing this, the simple answer, because I can. Yes, I'm well aware of hundreds, if not thousands, of other voices. Some more well-known than I, and some that I even listen to. I don't give a shit. I do it because, besides being fun and therapeutic, maybe, just maybe, my approach will resonate with that one person. As I have said on numerous occasions, the more voices from within the secular and, in my case, LGBTQI communities, the better. We all need to be heard. Me personally, I'm sick of being relegated to the sidelines. Here's a name I haven't mentioned in a while. The Duggars. Specifically, Ginger Duggar. The one child I thought may have a chance at life beyond the grasp of Mommy and Daddy, aka Quiverhole. Let's hope. Ginger Duggar breaks Jim Bob and Michelle's dress code, ditches long dresses and skirts for pants. Quote, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar have certain rules about what their daughters can wear and who they can date, while Jill Duggar and Jessa Seawald are still following the rules set by their parents. It appears Ginger Duggar, who married Jeremy Vuolo a few months ago, is ready to move past her family's stringent dress code that does not allow the girls to wear pants. The reality star has ditched dresses and skirts for pants, much to the surprise of her fans. A parody website that is highly critical of the Duggar family posted pictures of Ginger along with her husband Jeremy and his friends. End quote. If, for some odd reason, you have no clue what Quiverful is, or how Mom and Dad Duggar brainwash and indoctrinate their kids, I highly recommend the website No Longer Quivering. The name Bill Gothard may also become prominent in your information gathering. Be prepared for massive headaches due to numerous facepalms and frequent vomiting. This situation is a bit sticky, and in my opinion, there may be a bigger agenda at play. As with any story, there is always two sides, and we only have one and sort of kind of part of another. Transgender woman speaks out after being denied service at Union Gospel Mission. The politics aside for a moment, what struck me, and this according to KDLT, quote, the Union Gospel Mission says they will not provide services to transgender people and they will stand firm in their belief, end quote. They go on, again quoting, we need to, first of all, make sure it is a safe place because we have women and children here. Sometimes certain situations bring about animosity, and so we have to eliminate that, and sometimes that causes us to have to make the decision to deny a service. That according to Executive Director of Union Gospel Mission, Fran Stenberg. So I did a little bit more digging, and this is according to the Argus Leader, also quoting Fran Stenberg. He didn't know the details of Red Cloud's interaction with staff on Saturday or Sunday, but confirmed that staff has asked men to leave for wearing dresses on multiple occasions. It's not about transgender, it's about what's in the heart and soul of man. God created you as a man. End quote. Taking those statements into account, you sure you want religious institutions running our social welfare programs for the needy? Think about it, people. So, I really wanted to pull the audio file for this next story, but alas, it was not to be. Maybe, if I'm lucky, one of my techie-minded friends will be able to pull it out of the embedded video included in the following before I finalize my recording. A Mississippi attorney actually defended an accused rapist by claiming women are especially good at lying. This is not about the merits of the case, whether the defendant was guilty or not. This is about whether the moral compass that led Mississippi Attorney Steve Freese is faulty. Quote, and this is what he said at trial: "People can be very good at lying. Women can be especially good at it because they are the weaker sex, and we want to protect them and not have anybody take advantage of them. At least I do." End quote. Freese's justification for such a sleazeball statement? It isn't his job to care if anybody gets offended. As Alex McDaniel notes for the Oxford Eagle, quote, "Freese is right. His job is to win cases, and he did just that. He also amplified some of the primary reasons why sexual assault is often a crime that lives and dies in the silence of a victim who fears no one will believe them, or even worse, that they will be blamed for the assault occurring to begin with." End quote. I am well aware of the jokes concerning lawyers. We all are. But seriously, is winning that important that you throw away your humanity? Wasn't there a more ethical means of making your point, Mr. Freese? Sadly, I suspect we will be seeing more of such tactics as facts and statistics and the sciences, both hard and soft, i.e. the social sciences, go by the wayside. Freese exemplifies that point to a T. Now, I try to avoid Trump as much as possible, but does President Trump and or his administration have a fucking clue about the Constitution and how it's supposed to work? I'm really beginning to doubt it, as he has in the past week admitted that presidenting is hard. Trump considering amending or abolishing the First Amendment. Just one caveat to this headline, and I'm going to throw this into the wind, but some have suggested that abolishing may be a bit hyperbolic based on wording. You see, abolish never actually is used by Priebus in this interview, but it is minimally suggested at. But here's the thing. While Trump may not be a theocrat, and his reasoning to change the First Amendment may be due to what he calls unfair press coverage, many in his administration are theocrats, or more apt, Dominionists. One of their goals is the repeal of the First Amendment. Remember the Public Prayer Protection Act of 2005, H.R. 4364? It was put forth by then South Carolina Representative Gresham Barrett. Do you think the Reich has forgotten this? Or the Constitution Restoration Act of 2004 and 2005? I don't think so. I personally think Trump's want at nixing the First Amendment is based in his need for, shall we say, secular totalitarian control. I mean, how else do you explain his admiration for strongmen like Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, or North Korea's Kim Jong-un, or dearly departed Saddam Hussein? Or how about Vladimir? Can't forget Vlad. The Reich, on the other hand, is a bit more nuanced, and they will use whatever means, i.e. aligning with Trump via Mike Pence and Priebus to gain their ultimate goal of Dominionism via the Seven Mountains Mandate. FYI, also totalitarian. The purpose of these assaults on the Constitution, specifically First Amendment, is to delegitimize any criticism or opposition, no matter how appropriate. So while the MO may be a bit different, the outcome is ultimately the same. To get a sense, in the show notes, I put an excerpt from Catherine Yurka. Conquering by stealth and deception, how Dominionists are succeeding in their quest for national control and world power. Now, it is from 2004, but it lays out perfectly the agenda or the plan that you hear me rail about so frequently in regards to the Reich. And I really do recommend reading and seriously digesting what Yurka writes in its entirety, including all the hyperlinks. I'm going to read you just one small paragraph, and I want you to think about the ramifications as well as the parallels. Quote, according to Jeffrey Charlotte, who is the author of The Family, the book you've heard me mention, Hitler's Mein Kampf and William Shirer's The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich are studied as textbooks in a particular leadership training group he wrote about in Harper's Magazine. End quote. The Harper's article is archived. I've included the current URL, but it is behind a paywall. Think about what I just read. Hitler's Mein Kampf. Who else have we heard, allegedly, has it on his nightstand and used to read? Could it be Trump? So do I personally think the headline is hyperbolic? Hell fucking no. While this edition of Twats is a bit longer than anticipated, I wanted to add two last bits concerning Trump, the Constitution, and the way our system of governance runs. Trump laments archaic rules of Congress. The following is a tweet from Fox News. It's referring to why President Trump wasn't as productive as he promised during his first 100 days. At POTUS, on getting things done in the government. Quote, it's a very rough system. It's an archaic system. It's really a bad thing for the country. Now, that was on April 28th. 2 days later, in an interview with Face the Nation, Trump's response to things occurring and having to adapt and change, because all presidents are required to do so, Trump states, well, I think things generally tend to go a little bit slower than you'd like them to go. Interviewer, why? Justice system. It's just a very, very bureaucratic system. I think the rules in Congress, and in particular the rules in the Senate, are unbelievably archaic and slow-moving, and in many cases unfair. In many cases, you're forced to make deals that are not the deal you'd make. You'd make a much different kind of deal. Trump then goes on to bellyache about the Democrats being obstructionists, so you kind of get the idea. And what was this rule Trump was referring to? None other than the filibuster. On May 2nd, 2 more days, Trump tweets, the reason for the plan negotiated between the Republicans and Democrats is that we need 60 votes in the Senate, which are not there. We either elect more Republican senators in 2018 or change the rules now to 51%. Our country needs a good shutdown in September to fix mess. Now remember, come September, this is the man who wants a government shutdown if he doesn't get his way. Till next time, peace out.